Hello friends, welcome to the PetCorner channel. Today we're going to talk about why your dog might not consider you human. It may sound strange, but in fact, there are reasons why your pet does not perceive you as an ordinary person. In this video, we will look at how dogs form their relationships with their owners and what can be done to become a real member of their pack for your friend. Dogs are amazing creatures that perceive the world in a different way than humans. Their perception of the world and their interaction with it are shaped by their instincts and experience of dealing with the environment. They don't perceive us as people in the way we see ourselves. For dogs, it's more important how we behave and what signals we give. In order to build a healthy relationship with a dog, it is important to understand how it perceives the world around it. Every action we perform, whether it's a gesture, intonation, eye contact, or even our behavior in everyday life, can be perceived by a dog as a signal of our mood or intentions. One of the key aspects that influences how a dog perceives us is the role of leader in the pack. Dogs are social animals by nature, and there is always a leader in their hierarchical pack structure. This leader is the one who manages the herd, giving signals about safety, finding food, and other important aspects of life. An important point for the owner is that the dog will perceive his master as a leader if he shows confidence in his actions. Leadership does not mean dominance or aggression. This is primarily self-confidence and self-reliance. Dogs don't like uncertainty. If the owner behaves indecisively, the dog may begin to doubt his leadership qualities. This may manifest itself in the fact that the dog will begin to behave as if independently, showing dominance in a relationship with you. A dog's perception also strongly depends on how it feels in a human environment. Dogs are social animals, and in their world it is important that the leader is not only strong, but also consistent in his actions. When the owner adheres to consistent rules, the dog begins to perceive him as an authoritative figure. This helps to avoid confusion and misunderstanding. It is important to note that dogs always strive for stability. In conditions where the owner's behavior changes or becomes unpredictable, the dog may begin to worry. If the owner is indecisive, this can cause anxiety in the dog, which will start looking for ways to control the situation. To avoid such situations, it is necessary to follow clear rules and demonstrate confidence in all circumstances. A dog's instincts play a key role in its behavior. They determine the reaction to the environment, to other animals and people. For example, many dogs display a protective instinct, protecting their territory, home, and their pack. This may include protecting your loved ones, your food, or a place to relax. Also, many dogs feel the need for dominance, especially if they feel that the leader in the house is not showing enough confidence. Understanding these instincts helps the owner to better interact with the pet, understanding its needs and behavior. Instincts can manifest themselves in other ways: fear, aggression, or playfulness. It is very important to learn how to recognize the signals that a dog gives through its behavior. For example, she may avoid eye contact if she feels threatened, or on the contrary, she may look at you warily. Understanding these nuances allows the owner not only to establish a proper relationship with the pet, but also to avoid many behavioral problems. It is important to remember that dogs are very sensitive to human mood and behavior. The way we behave affects how a dog will perceive us and our status in her eyes. The more confident and consistent you are, the easier it will be for you to gain the trust and respect of your pet. Socialization is one of the most important stages in a dog's life, especially at an early age. It involves the process of a dog getting used to the world around them, people, other animals, and various situations. Socialization helps a pet develop confidence, avoid aggression and fear in unusual situations, and create harmonious relationships with its owner and others. Early socialization is considered to be the period when the dog is still a puppy. At this moment, her brain is most receptive to new impressions and experiences. This process is critically important because if a puppy does not have a positive experience with other animals, people, and various surrounding objects in his life, he may become fearful, aggressive, or withdrawn in the future. It is important that the puppy gets to know a variety of situations, objects, and people before 16 weeks. It is during this period that the foundation of his behavior is laid. However, socialization does not end with puppyhood. It is important to continue to train your dog throughout his life. For example, new experiences and acquaintances with other dogs, people, trips to new places, and even a change of environment can make a significant contribution to socialization. If a dog has experience interacting with the world from an early age, it will be more confident and calmer in new situations, which will affect its relationship with its owner. One of the most important aspects of socialization is how a dog perceives its owner. When a dog is properly socialized, it takes various types of interactions with humans and other animals more calmly. Moreover, if your dog feels that you are confident in your actions, he will perceive you as a leader. Proper socialization helps the dog perceive you not only as a breadwinner, but also as a confident and stable leader. Over time, the dog will begin to respect you as an authority figure in her life. When you properly develop your pet socially, she perceives you as a reliable and experienced leader. This helps to avoid confusion and misunderstanding. Socialization also affects how a dog will communicate with other animals. If your dog has had no experience with other dogs, he may become shy or aggressive when meeting them. It is important to teach a dog to interact with other animals from an early age so that he understands how to behave in these situations. This will help prevent future problems and make the dog more confident. In addition, socialization improves the dog's behavior in daily life. A socialized dog will behave more calmly when walking. It will not be afraid of loud noises, strangers, or cars, which significantly reduces the likelihood of stress or injury in such situations. Dogs that have undergone socialization are easier to learn and adapt to new rules of behavior at home and outdoors. The owner's task is not only to teach the dog to communicate with other people and animals, but also to instill in it respect for boundaries and rules. A dog who has grown up in the right social environment understands that there are acceptable and unacceptable actions, and this also affects how he will perceive you as an owner and leader. Thus, socialization is the most important process that shapes a dog's future behavior. Early socialization creates the basis for proper perception of you as an owner and leader. This is a key stage in a dog's life that helps prevent behavior problems and strengthen a trusting and authoritative relationship with the pet. One of the most important aspects in the upbringing of a dog is the establishment of clear boundaries and rules. Without them, your pet may begin to perceive you not as a leader, but as a brother or a playmate, which can lead to significant behavior problems. Discipline and consistency are two key elements that are necessary for a dog to consider you an authority and follow your instructions. When a dog does not understand where the boundaries of what is allowed are, it can begin to show dominant behavior, to behave aggressively or, conversely, to be afraid and avoid you. This may relate to many aspects of her behavior, such as control over the territory, attitude towards other animals, food, as well as your personal area. The first step to setting boundaries is to define clear rules for your pet. It is important to understand that a dog cannot guess on its own what is expected of it. If you allow your pet to do certain things at some moments and forbid them at others, it can confuse them. For example, if a dog can jump on you in joy, but another time it needs to be strictly pushed away, it will not understand what you really want from it. It is important to be consistent in your actions. Dogs, like humans, need stability and predictability. If the rules change all the time, or if you don't follow them yourself, the dog won't understand what is allowed and what is not. This can lead to anxiety in the pet and, as a result, to undesirable behavior. In addition, it is important to set clear physical and psychological boundaries. For example, if a dog often climbs into your bed and you allow it from time to time, it will begin to perceive your bed as its territory. In the case of more aggressive breeds, this can lead to behavioral problems and learning difficulties. Boundaries also relate to socialization. If a dog does not receive sufficient socialization with other people and animals, it can become aggressive or anxious in new situations. It is important to understand that discipline includes not only physical correction, but also proper social interaction. A socialized dog will behave more confidently in the company of other animals and people. Discipline does not have to be strict or physical. Positive reinforcement is much more effective than punishments. The dog understands that its actions have consequences and that it will receive encouragement for proper behavior, whether it's a treat, a game, or praise. It's important to remember that the dog reacts to your mood and to your tone. So, it's important to stay calm and confident. It is also important not to forget that each breed has its own behavioral characteristics. For example, some breeds, such as sheepdogs, tend to be more independent and require a special approach from the owner in terms of discipline. Other breeds, such as pugs, may be more malleable and need less control. It is important to understand that the approach to raising a dog should be individual and appropriate to its character and needs. Regular workouts and activities also help strengthen the bond between you and your dog. The dog must understand that you are its leader, and it will follow you. During training, it is important to use clear commands and consistent actions so that the dog understands what is expected of him. It helps to establish authority and create harmonious relationships. Do not forget that setting boundaries is not a punishment, but a method of forming correct behavior. This is a process that requires time and patience. When a dog feels that its owner is reliable, consistent, and honest, it will begin to trust him and perceive him as a leader. Now that we've sorted out the main reasons why your dog might not consider you human, it's important to remember that all of these points can be fixed. Attention, love, consistency in parenting, and an understanding of canine psychology will help you become a true friend and leader for your pet. Share in the comments how you have a relationship with your pet and what difficulties you have encountered. Don't forget to subscribe to the PetCorner channel so that you don't miss new useful videos for dog owners. Thanks for watching.